And because a moment ago, we draw the conclusion that we need to include all these three tables. So let's bring them in. And close. Okay. Now, after brought them in, and then we need to follow the requirement. How many pieces information we need to show? So it specified student ID. I'm looking at on my other screen the student ID. We have to include there. Now, student ID, we have two student ID, even though they are labeled slightly differently. Now, in this case, depending on what other information we need to show, if you want to show first name, last name, most likely student ID from student table is a better representation, because the other one only represent the course information the student has taken. In other situations, sometimes a student may just registered to the university but have not started to take any courses yet. Okay, so in this case, we take the student ID from student table. So again, like we did last time, if you just double click, it will find out the first available spot. Okay, double click. And the first name, last name, major. So up to this point. And next one is the total courses. We have to put CRSID from grade table. This CRSID indicate the course ID the student has taken. So I take this one, even though not directly, but indirectly, I need to include this one. Next one is total credit hours. And the credit hours in course table is the only spot we have the chance. Okay. And the next one is grade. It's here, only chance. Okay. So before we work on the other part, there's one more. So those are the information potentially we need to show to the manager or show to the user. And in order to find out the qualified record, we have one criteria not included here is whether the student is graduated or not. So we need to put the graduate status in. Okay. So those are the basic information potentially that will help us to get the question answered. After you get those information, so I may need to wait here for a couple of seconds so that you can catch up the progress, include all these three tables, and STUID, first name, last name, major are from student table. CRSID from grade table, not from course table. Credit hours from course table. Grade from grade table. And the last one, not in the first group, but I included here is the graduated or not from student table. Because later on, we need to use this to go over this again. Okay, seems I missed some of you. How to get there? How to get there? How to get there? Okay, basically we start from here. Okay, create, query design. That's the major one. So I'm going to repeat this process one more time. Delete everything, not save. If you have already have those information, keep it there. Okay, I'm going to repeat the process one more time. I was here. Go to create. Go to query design. 2 clicks. Okay. After class, if you want to review, create query design. So if I can close this one, delete this one more time, create query design. Okay. Now, once you have these 2 clicks, all the tables will show up. Now, occasionally, if you don't see this, If you don't see this one, if you end up with this kind of situation, right click, show table, show table. First time you may not have this, but occasionally if you happen to have this one, if you see a blank here, right click, show table. Okay. Based on our analysis, we need to show all those three tables, so simply double click. Question here. Oh, I have not checked the attendance yet. So I'm going to check the attendance during the break, not right now. Okay, but thank you for the question. Okay, so basically double click. You can check one by one. Click add, but eventually we want to include all those three tables here. Are you okay with that one?
Why does yours say query 1 at the top? Do you see what I'm talking about?
This one?
Yeah, mine says query 1 at the top, but next to it, it still says course grade and student.
Oh, which means you have not closed that information yet. Put it down like this one. You close the course table. Yeah. If you can still open this menu, which means each tag, which means that file still open.
Okay.
And in this case, you can navigate in between, or you can sometimes the system will ask you to close that one because you are opening that one. They cannot continue the other work.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. So I'm good. Kind of normal practice. Personally, I like to close everything else if not necessary, and keep only the one we are working on. Okay. So up to this point, whole class, and then I'm going to add those one again. For if you want to show this one approach, I used a moment ago. Just double click. Double click allows you to find out, drag this to the first available spot. So if I don't know this, I may say, well, I want to put this one here, click, hold, and drag, put it here. As you may have used a couple of times, actually, you don't have to do this one because there's another approach. If that happened to be your case, just find out the second one, and on the attribute, double click. By double clicking the selected attribute, it will automatically go to the list, first available list. Because the first one has been taken, so it will take the second spot. The same thing for the last name. If I want to be next to it, simply double click. Everybody is okay for this one? Okay. And the next one is major. And list, double check the list, major, yeah, up to major. And the analysis is we are going to have the total courses taken. Yeah, you're welcome. Total course taken, we need to use course ID in grade table based on our analysis. So double click that one. And then based on our analysis, next one will be graded hours. Double click, select and double click. Okay. And average grade, that's the only spot we have grade, so we take average grade in the grade table and the double click. So those are the list we are going to show. Some will be directly get the information from, and then the others may need to do some additional operation, get the related information. And the last one was the graduated or not. This one is not required by the manager or by the user, but in order for us to find out qualify the record, we have to include this in. This will help us construct the condition or the criteria to show the record. Okay, we are back to the situation we had a moment ago. Any questions? Before we proceed and add some criteria to it. It seems okay this time. Everybody catch up. And so next time I may be a little bit slow, not so fast. Okay. So we are here. We did analysis. Moment ago we said, well, so let's go to where's that one? Yeah. We measure some of the information, we can get it directly from the attribute. The others we can only start from there, but not necessarily directly. For example, total courses. So in this case, one attribute we have to do is the next one. We set here turn on totals. Okay. How do we implement this? On the screen, you go to under design, query tools, you click design. On this ribbon, you see totals. So I'm going to be a little bit slow here, first time use it. So make sure you find it, you know where to go. Under query tools, design. On the ribbon, you see tool, totals. Turn this on. Right now it is off, turn this on. Once you turn this on, a total row will be included or will show up. Whole class. I'm going to wait here. Maybe this is a critical point before I do the next one. So I'm going to wait here for a couple of seconds so that everybody catch up this one. Under design, on the ribbon, you see totals. Turn this on. Default is off. Once you turn this on, the total row will show up. And inside the total row, each cell will have a group by. Everybody got this one? Seems okay. No question. Now, for these three, course ID, credit hours, create, you click in group by cell. Okay, click in this cell. Then you click this little arrow. But because once you are in this cell, the arrow will show up. So you click the arrow on the list, you choose count. The first one. Not group by. Change the group by to count under CRSID, this column. Which means for the same group of student, ideally I'm gonna if I don't change this one, I'm gonna see all the course ID the student has taken. Now by selecting count, in this case, I'm telling the system, or we are telling the system that for the same group of students, just count how many different course IDs with this student. So by doing this, it helps us find out total courses the student has taken. That's the indirect way with the functions embedded in Microsoft Access. Same thing for credit hours. We need to find out sum for the second one. For the same student, you may have taken many courses, but how many for the particular credit hours for each course is not my interest in this case. My interest or manager's interest is the total. So this is called actually in our exercise, this is what we call aggregated function. Aggregated function. Count is an aggregate function. Sum is another aggregate function. When you go to grade, another function is average, AVG. So specify those three. I'm going to wait you here. Make sure you have this information. In this case, most likely we can get it through once. You don't have to repeat again and again. But I'm going to wait you here. Make sure those are the explanation, and here's the operation. How do we implement this idea? Number one, turn on totals on the ribbon of design ribbon. And once you turn this on, you go down, you see the row total shows up. And by default, the value was group by. We have to change the value from group by to in aggregate function. Three functions. The first one is count. Second one, sum. Third one, average. Count goes under course ID. We get the total course, number of courses the student has taken. Credit hours get sum, get the total credit hours the student has earned. And grade, we get average. We get average GPA score. Oh, is this okay? Looks like it. Okay, I'm going to continue. So after we specified, we can, if we cannot, sometimes I got this kind of curiosity as well. So I like to see, even though I have not completed this yet, but I like to see what's going on. So I'm going to save this first. Save this query first. I made reasonably significant progress. So I'm going to click upper left corner, save. And the name of this one, excuse me, will be outstanding student.